Okay, so it's no surprise that the world is headed for a recession in 2023. I mean, you only need to open YouTube to see big players like Graham Stephan and Andre Jig posting a video every 3 seconds saying that the world will end with big bold letters and worried faces, and if you dare try to read the news, you will see headlines like these saying that there is a high chance that we might already be in a recession. Now, although I am kind of getting a little bit annoyed with all of these doom and gloom headlines and thumbnails, I thought that I would also make a video about the recession that is about to hit. But I'm not going to cover the nitty-gritty technical intricacies of what a recession is or why it happens, as I believe that these chommies spend enough time explaining these concepts well. Instead, I am going to tell you what you as a South African can do to manage your finances during these unprecedented times, and also what I am going to do to make some big bucks off of the great opportunities that will soon present itself. Alright, so let's get right into it then. Inflation is running rampant over the world, and South Africa is no exception. Inflation hit 7.6% in August, and if we compare the price of basic goods to a year ago, you can see that sunflower oil is 55%, diesel is 54%, petrol is 38%, and even baked beans is 23% more expensive, amongst many other things. We've been particularly hit hard with the increase in fuel prices, and these have direct knock-on effects on all the other products that we consume due to the increased cost of transportation. It is, therefore, more important than ever to have a proper understanding of where exactly your money is going towards every single month. And the best way to do this is to sit on your gat, open an Excel spreadsheet or take out a piece of paper, open your banking app and write down each and every transaction you made over the past 3 months. You then need to list these transactions under these categories and then calculate the average of each category over these 3 months. This will only take about half an hour to do, and it might give you a snort clap in the face, but this is the exact wake-up call that you will need to take control of your finances. When I first did this, I was shocked to find out where some of my money was leaking towards, and you might very well be too. But by understanding what exactly you are spending your money on will give you control over where your money will go to in the future, and therefore empower you to make the necessary changes in your financial life to survive the impacts of the inevitable recession. And this brings me to my second point: cut down on your expenses. Once you have categorized all of your expenses and you've worked out the average over the past 3 months, list them from the highest to the lowest expense. You'll probably find housing expenses, transport and food at the very top, and things like subscriptions and banking fees at the bottom. Now, while it is great to cut down on anything unnecessarily, it is much more effective to focus on the big ones than to waste too much time on the small ones. For example, if you currently spend 15,000 Rand per month on rent and 250 Rand per month on banking fees, it will save you much more money to move into a smaller apartment paying 8,000 Rand in rent than it is to spend 2 days at the bank trying to move your account to a cheaper one that only charges 100 Rand in fees. So start from the top and move your way down to the bottom. But Peter, I don't know how to save money. Well, luckily for you, Mrs. Money Marx and I spent a ton of time writing down more than 200 money saving hacks that helped us to cut down our expenses by more than 50%, which you can download for free down in the description. I also have an entire playlist of videos focusing on ways to save money on different categories, so you really have no excuse to educate yourself on how you can shave off some randellas off of your expenses. Now, 2 categories that I would strongly encourage you to carefully consider is having the right insurance and medical cover in place. Being in a car accident and admitted to the ICU without having proper cover could literally cripple you financially. Now, your individual circumstances will determine which types of insurance and medical cover policies you will need, but at the very basic level, make sure that you have income protection, comprehensive car and third-party insurance, as well as a hospital plan in place. This will ensure that if you write your and another individual's car off, your insurance will be able to replace the value of both cars. If you are admitted to the ICU, the hospital plan will help to pay the bill. And if you are permanently injured, preventing you from continuing with your career, the income protection cover will continue to pay your salary even if you cannot work. Now, there are many other types of insurance and medical cover that we can talk about, including disability cover, pet insurance, medical cover, gap cover, etc. So if you guys want to learn more about it, then let me know down in the comments and I can make a video about it. But also, make sure that you are not overcharged on your insurance premiums. It is always a good idea to revise your insurance cover and premiums once a year. And if you want to save some more money, then click on the link down in the description to ask for a quote from Naked Insurance. We saved more than 300 Rand per month just by moving our car insurance to them, and you can very well do the same. Tracking your expenses and cutting them down like a doner kebab is the most difficult part of this journey. So well done for making it this far. Next, we need to use this extra money we freed up and put it to good use. In an attempt to fight inflation, central banks all around the world need to increase their interest rates. Our repo rate is currently sitting at 6.25% with the prime lending rate at 9.75%. This is expected to increase by at least another full 1% over the next couple of months, so this makes having debt extremely expensive. So next, I would focus on paying off bad debt as quickly as possible. Bad debt includes credit card debt, store card debt, overdrafts, personal and temporary loans, which also have interest rates above 15%. List all of your debts from the ones with the highest interest rate to the lowest, and whilst paying the minimum amount on all of these accounts, gooi every extra cent you have into your most expensive debt. Once that is paid off, use that money to pay off the second most expensive debt and rinse and repeat the cycle until you are rid of all your bad debt. Home, business and student loans are considered to be good debt, as you can either back it up by a physical asset like a house or a financial asset like a degree or business model. And seeing that the interest rates on these loans are generally lower, you can decide how aggressive you want to pay them off. Car loans are kind of like in the middle, but seeing the high interest rates we are currently experiencing, I would say to pay off your car loan as soon as possible as well. Now, whilst paying off your debt is very important, it is even more important to ensure that you don't ever fall into the debt spiral again. Financial emergencies will happen. It is part of life. Your geyser may burst, your car may break down, or your pet might get sick and will need to be hospitalized. Now again, it is always better to have the proper insurance in place in case these things happen, but sometimes, even so, you will need to pay a lump sum for an emergency. And if you don't have the necessary cash flow in place, you will either need to sell off your investments at a loss or take out nasty credit card debt. So next, you will need to build up a healthy emergency fund. Remember that list you created at the beginning of all of your expenses? Look at the amounts you spend on the things that necessitate basic survival, like housing, food, transport, utilities, insurance, and medical cover, and add them up. You will need to save at least 3 to 6 times this amount in an emergency fund. Recessions tend to cause many people to lose their jobs, and if you are not earning an income, how will you be able to pay your expenses? Now, I know that this amount will look like quite a lot, but trust me, once you have in place, it will bring so much peace of mind knowing that you will be able to provide for you and your family should something unexpected happen. But Peter, where do I even put my emergency fund? Go and watch this video where I show you all the different options as well as the strategy that I personally follow. And now we can finally get to the fun part, investing. If you started your investment journey in the past 3 years or so, then I feel you, brother. We've been through 2 major market crashes already, so it has been a proper roller coaster in the markets. You might now look at your stock or crypto portfolio and see double red digits, which will probably make you feel like investing is just a big old scam and that you should just sell off all of your investments and just put that money in the bank where you know you will at least earn some interest. And while this is true, you must remember our nasty friend called inflation, who will silently erode the value of your cash even when it is inside of the bank. Inflation will always be higher than what you will earn from any bank savings account, so your money will effectively lose value over the long term. The whole idea behind investing is to make sure that your money works for you, and the only way that this will ever happen is if it beats inflation. And in order to beat inflation, you will need to invest in riskier assets than cash, like bonds, property, stocks, and even crypto. Bonds offer really attractive rates at the moment, with the 5-year fixed retail savings bond offering a whopping 11.25% interest rate, and the RSA top-up bond offering a 10% interest rate, which is slightly even more than what you can expect to earn from the stock market over the long term. So if you want to capitalize on these great rates and your risk tolerance is relatively low, then go and watch this video where I explain exactly how these retail savings bonds work. But as history have proven time and time again, stocks will outperform all of the other asset classes over the long term. It may not look like that at the moment, and given what is currently going on in the world, the stock market might still fall another 10 to 20% over the next year before it will start to rebound. But when it does rebound, and rebound it would, the few ones that were brave enough to not only keep their money in the markets, but also continue to invest into the market as it fell, will be positioned to make some excellent profits. This may not be true if you are picking individual stocks, as recessions tend to decapitate many businesses who do not have strong cash flows. But if you are investing in a broad market ETF like the CoreShares Total World or Satrix S&P 500, your portfolio will not only recover, but you are also likely to make some excellent profits. Just look at the S&P 500. During the pandemic, its value fell by more than 30% in just over a month's time. But between March 2020 and December 2021, which is less than 20 months, it gained more than a whopping 105%. So be patient, and if you can, continue to dollar or rand cost average your money into a broad market ETF every single month and stop obsessing over your losses. And if you dabbled in the dark arts of individual stock picking, then this will be a great reminder that it is risky and that you will probably not beat the market.
Ja, ek het vir jou gesê.
Diversification is key when it comes to investments, not only within an asset class, but also between different asset classes. I personally try to invest at least 70% of my investments in broad market ETFs and unit trust, and then use the other 30% for more risky investments like individual stock picking and crypto. But that is because I have a high risk tolerance and a long investment time horizon. Your situation may be likely very different than mine. And if you are not sure which asset classes you need to include in your portfolio, then go and watch this YouTube video. And then lastly, the best thing that you can do during a recession is to try and remain employable. Your ability to earn an income is your greatest asset, because without an income, you won't be able to do any of these things or have any of these things in place. Now, I know that it is easier said than done, and that many people will lose their jobs over the next year or so. So in order to prepare, update your CV, do some extra courses to increase your qualifications, work hard, and prove that you are irreplaceable to your company. And if you do end up losing your job or you are currently unemployed, don't sit around at home being angry at the world. Take this time to learn a new skill and take on a side hustle. The internet has opened up a world of opportunities for people to make money from their phone or their laptop. And if you want to see some ideas on how you can make some money online from South Africa, check out the YouTube channel Financial Affairs with Nosipu. Life is not fair. It has never been and it will never be. While we cannot control what will happen to us, we can control how we will react to it. So, take your finances seriously, follow the steps in this video, and make an effort to improve your financial education. It is always better to be prepared than to be caught off guard. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have any questions. You must all have a lekker day. Cheers.